Welcome to an end of the year 3-part series that I have put together for you that is called How to Fill Your Client Roster in 2026. It comes from the large amount of discussions I've been having in my inbox and my DMs, and clients have said to me, Amanda, I just want a plan for 2026. Amanda, I want to not feel the highs and lows of business. I want to know each month that I have a strategy to get clients into my world. So I decided to put together a 3-part series that serves you in the highest way as we end out 2025 that's not filled like with fluffy goal setting. So here we go. Part 1 is about to kick off. Welcome to the Best Damn Coach podcast. You are tuning in to an end of year series that I put together. It is a 3-part series that I am so pumped to share with you. I've been building the content, noodling on the content for weeks now, and it's finally all come together because what this series is focused on is how to fill your client roster in 2026. I was thinking to myself, everybody's going to be talking about goal setting and wah, 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 and all those things. And I don't not think those things are important. Like, I'm obviously looking at the same things in my business, and we've been having meetings, and I've been meeting with myself and doing deep reflection. And I believe all of those things are important. I just wanted to create something that was tangible, that's going to make you think, and that is going to help you move the needle in 2026, that isn't uber fluffy or anything like that, because I get a little bored with those things. I think they're great, but we need realism, and we need somebody who can, lay out strategy and the mindset necessary to move ahead in 2026. So this is part 1. The next 2 weeks, you're going to get part 2 and 3. And as you listen, please let me know how this series is resonating with you. I'm in my DMs over on Instagram at @awalkmyway, and I would love to chat with you directly. So I don't believe that in 2026, it's just sitting around like making a new vision board, setting new goals, and hoping for the best, which is often what I see. And what I was guilty of doing is I would say I wanted to make a certain revenue goal. And in the beginning, I had some semblance of how to make that happen, but a lot of it was hoping, crossing my fingers. And what I realized is I was missing a few key things. And so I'm really going to reverse design for you through this 3-part series on the stuff that I totally sucked at and have learned, so that you can start actually moving the needle in 2025 and in 2026. And we start actually by looking at 2025. And that might seem counterproductive in some ways, but I know for me that some of the time wasted was not really understanding what was underneath my nose in business. And I would sometimes operate with this mindset, like, it's not working, which was totally false. Because if you even had 2 clients this year, something did work. Well, we need to get to the root of it to figure out what is working so that we can double down on it. I love the question, what's not working? But honestly, we can learn a lot more from what is working and then begin to reverse engineer our strategy around that. And so this 3-part series for you is this: if you served 100 clients and you want to serve 1,000, wonderful. If you serve 5 and you want to serve 20 in 2026, then you should be taking notes on everything that I'm talking about inside of this 3-part series. And so today, what we're going to be looking at is kind of an overall audit and glance back at your business in 2025 so that you can decide where you need to spend energy in 2026. And so I'm going to walk you through 5 kind of questions or areas that I would be looking at personally. So area number 1 is kind of like your revenue reality check. Here's the questions I want you to be able to effectively answer. What actually generated revenue for you this year? And what that means is you could look at this and find that you made $57. Great. You could find that you made $57,000. You could find that you made $570,000. No matter what income level is, part of this is stepping into the belief that you are actually a business owner and you are a CEO. Because if you are coming in and you're listening to this and you're dismissing the fact like, oh, I only made $57, like, this is the inherent problem. If you are calling the thing a side hustle, a hobby, blah, 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 all those things then you are not stepping into the actual roles that a CEO does. And a CEO looks high level and in the detail of the business to decide what's effectively working. So you look at your income and you go, okay, I'm just for simple grins here, I'm going to just go like a flat 6 figures. I made $100,000. Okay, great. How? What offers? If I look back and I see that, let's say 60,000 of that came from $10,000 clients or 10 $6,000 clients or some iteration, then I can say 60% of my revenue came from this offer, a one-to-one offer, and maybe the other 40,000 came from a second offer, or it was sprinkled between several things that you tried. And so I want you to be able to do this. I would open up a spreadsheet personally. Inside Best Damn Coach, I actually provide all of the templates for tracking consistently. I teach all of my coaches inside the Best Damn Coach how to do this. Even though in the beginning, I know we might resist these things, it gets easier. You get more excited about it. You start to shift your mindset and not make it mean things. It's simply a data collection tool that informs how we make decisions moving forward. Because for many of you, what you're doing right now is your decisions are based on emotion, the excitement level you feel about an offer, or the opposite, the lack of excitement you feel about an offer, or how you're feeling on a Monday versus how you're feeling on a Thursday. And I'm not dismissing emotion. I do think emotion, I don't even want to say emotion. I think intuition is a really important part of this, like the spirit moving inside of you to guide you towards specific things. And if we rely on emotion, we're just constantly going to be experiencing the highs and the lows. And what I hear from clients right now is, Amanda, help me, or new clients that I'm bringing into the Best Damn Coach. I'm sick of the highs and the lows. And partly when I experienced that in my business, the highs and lows were a result of making decisions from emotion and not looking at the data. And so step one is just like confirming that revenue income or that revenue and offer. Where did those come from? And which offers are the most profitable for you? Did you put a crap ton of energy into a $37 offer and you found out that you made $2,000 from it? And then you're like over here looking in the other, you had 80,000 come from a one-to-one offer. You weren't like really putting much energy into selling. Like these are important things for you to equip yourself in knowing. And so you can also, while you're here, look at like, okay, what pricing worked for me? What pricing didn't? Or you might start looking as we lead into the next one. Wow, I'm putting a ton of energy and time into this offer and not making much money from it. These are the important things that you should know, which leads us to step 2 is looking at your time and your energy. Where did you spend most of your time in 2025? If you look back at your weeks, were 40% of your weeks making social media content? And like, how did that work for you? And if you spent most of your time creating social media content without clients from it, then I would say, first, you need to come into the Best Damn Coach, shameless plug. And also you need to reevaluate where you're spending your time. So you're looking at what activities felt busy but didn't generate revenue. I introduced that topic several episodes ago of productivity, right? Of things that make you feel like you're productive, but it's really just busy work that's not leading to new clients, generating sales, nurturing relationships, all those revenue generating strategies. And then I think a really important one is like what excited you, what was energizing for you, and what drained you. I'm not shy about the fact that social media drains me. So it's not something that I put a ton of time and energy to. And it's also something we've made a lot of strides for as far as delegation so that I can work on the other things in the business that are both more exciting to me and also energize me and pay off as far as revenue generating. Okay, now we're moving into area 3, which is I'll call it like marketing effectiveness. What actually brought in clients? So what I like to do, I'm doing this consistently. I like to go back to my client. I use monday.com as the place where we store all of our information. You might do this in an Excel spreadsheet. These are, again, templates that I provide all of my coaches inside my community. And you might look at your entire client roster or look offer by offer and say, okay, my one-to-one coaching, where did they come from? So something I do is I track the source of the lead all the time. Definitely would encourage you to do this. But how did they find me? what I want to say before you do this is 9 times out of 10, they did not find you on social media. They found you somewhere else, then started following you on social media, and that's where you did the nurturing. Like, I want to know the origin. Did they hear you on a podcast? Did your neighbor refer them? Did an existing client refer them? Did they hear you on your own podcast? Did they see you speak somewhere? You absolutely need to know the source of your leads because this informs your energy in 2026. So for instance, I know that about 90% of our clients come from one of our 2 podcasts. This podcast that you're listening to, or if you haven't listened, I also have a limited series podcast called How to Get Clients. So that massively informs my decision for 2026. Our big question is, how do we get more listeners to both podcasts? That's like number 1 question. So that informs my marketing effectiveness. So we're looking for like what converted. And also, what content or messaging resonated the most? Inside the Best Damn Coach, I teach you these activation phrases. I teach you how to identify in your own business phrases that activate your clients so you can engage in more conversations, which obviously is going to lead to more sales and coaching services offered to your prospective leads. I want you to know when I say these words, people are totally engaged. Because when you say those things, then you should be building your content and your messaging around those things. It's actually quite simple when we give ourselves permission to slow down and do exactly what I'm encouraging you to do on this show, which leads us to area 4, which is the client analysis part. I like to think about, I've been doing this a lot lately, the last quarter, because I've been in such an expansive season and like the most coolest, awesome clients that are coming into my world in the last year and a half. I mean, I love all my clients, but I've definitely have asked myself, like, okay, who do I love working with? Who are your favorite clients to work with, and why? Why were they your favorite clients? Was it a certain role? Was it a certain energy? Was it they were action takers? Like rapport just felt really effortless. What is it about them? And who got the best results and why? And then the opposite is, were there any clients you kind of wish you hadn't taken on? Can you see back to any red flags? Are there any patterns that you can see between those like premium clients versus the ones that maybe weren't as ideal? So I would, again, just be looking at my list and just kind of noticing things, looking for specific patterns that are going to lead to like an aha moment for you. Okay, which leads us to area number 5, which I'm just going to call the stop doing this list. So based on the first 4 areas, I think you can pretty much begin to see like what's working and what isn't. So based on this kind of audit of the first 4 areas, what needs to stop in 2026? So this could be a pattern, like the pattern of you not sitting down to actually carve out a few hours a day. The pattern of you spending all your time on social media. The pattern of you hiding from the fact that you know you're an amazing speaker and that's how you get clients and you need to pitch more places. So on this list, you're thinking about like what are you doing out of habit versus what are you doing out of strategy and intention? And I always like to go back to this statement, like, just because it's common doesn't mean it's right. You have to figure out what is right for you. Where are you getting clients? And what is this kind of productivity then that you need to eliminate? The thing in your world that is busy work that isn't actually getting the clients that you most desire. So I know that many of you are listening to this as you're walking, doing laundry, at the gym, at kids' practices, which I love. I would even just encourage you really quickly to just like take out the notes app and just answer these questions, even if you can do them a little. But I really want you to sit down and walk through this more diligently because it's definitely going to inform the next 2 parts. So in the next episode, I'm going to show you basically then exactly what to focus on in 2026 based on what you learned in this audit. But don't skip this step. That's really what I want to make sure I'm reiterating. You have to know where you are before you can map out where you're going. We have to look back to figure out what's working, what's not working, so we can make the best decisions moving forward so that we're working smarter and not harder and putting our energy into areas that really matter. Something for me that's so important is I want a freedom-filled life. And there are days in my business where I only have an hour. And I have to know where I should be spending that hour so that I continue to move the needle in the most strong direction. Right? And that's the beauty of what we do, but you want to inform that time with truth and data instead of emotion. So kudos to you for tackling this in part 1 of the series, How to Fill My Client Roster in 2026. Again, tell me what's going on as you listen. Feel free to send me a message over on Instagram. I would love to hear what's coming up for you. And please do not miss out. If you don't already, hit subscribe to the podcast because this will notify you when new episodes come out so that you do not miss any episode that's released, especially because this 3-part series is just teeing you up perfectly to end the year. And I don't want you to miss out where we're headed next in this 3-part series. So until then, go coach them up, and I'll be back for part 2 next week.